So how do we expect to find a way of designing your life with your partner that can be resilient through life? How do you co-design something which frees you up from having to police everything that's going on, having to parent everything that your partner is doing? Now, of course, you don't parent everything and you don't police everything. But I remember my wife, when she would go away and I had to look after the two children, she would have to make a list for me as to what needed to be done and where it needed to be done. The worst thing was when somebody threw a curveball and asked me to pick up their child as well, when I only had two children on the pickup list. What we're going to do in this course is have a quick look at what ADHD is. Now, if you're watching this, you probably already know, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Then we're going to look at things like the need for creating an emotionally safe space in which you can tackle some of these issues. We'll look at how to communicate constructively and clearly so that you can address some of these issues. We'll look at how you put structures in place which enable you to manage your relationship and your responsibilities in such a way that it meets both of your needs. And we'll look at the fact that you need to co-design and structure your lives together around your individual strengths. Don't expect your partner to do something that you would do really well if you could delegate something else to them, which they could probably do better than you. It can also be really destructive for you as the partner of the adder when you get into conflict. We, with ADHD, adult ADHD, probably grew up with ADHD for a couple of decades or several decades. And so we've learned some bad behaviors in how we get defensive when we perceive somebody to be attacking us, how we store things up for a while until they all come out like a machine gun of complaints and grievances. And the partner who's not ADHD is caught off guard and is so surprised and is really undermined by what's going on. Conflict can be so destructive. So you need to create this place that you can continually have communication in a constructive way. So we'll also have some opportunities to reflect on how we see the world, how they see the world, how we can find ways and even phrases to an extent of approaching these conversations in particular contexts and creating the spaces, which could be different spaces for different topics, so that it doesn't always feel like you're sitting them down like the parent or you're sitting them down like you are the police person. So how do you get the most out of this course? Well, there's several worksheets that you must go through in order to get the most out of this course. In fact, if you don't go through the worksheets, you're going to whistle through this thing. It's going to look like a half an hour course or a 45-minute course, whereas it should take you a few hours over a number of days to work through the videos and the exercises. In fact, you might do an exercise and feel it's a good time to broach it with your partner. Great. But then you might need a day or two to recover from whatever you learned in that interaction in order to move on to the next video and then the worksheet. So it's a continual feedback loop, but you have to do the exercises. Do them diligently. Sometimes you'll do them with your partner. In fact, we're going to start with an exercise which enables both you and your partner to score yourselves on a number of elements of your marriage or partnership, particularly how sensitive or concerned you are about those different elements. So thank you for trusting me in coming along on this course, and let's move forward into the next module where we're going to do that exercise of evaluating our concerns about different elements of our partnership.